Question is for Rick Dykstra. It's about what the cuts to people who are waiting for their refugee status to be determined. We were told that the cuts to that cutting their health care out is fair and reasonable. That's better than what most Canadians get. But actually, it's not a fair comparison. Canadian citizens have the right to work in this country, and if they can't, there's social protections for that. The Supreme Court said it's not fair and reasonable, it's cruel and unusual. So we've also heard at the forum in St. Catharines that this makes it difficult to sponsor refugees because people get sick. So the question is it still fair and reasonable to cut their health care for people applying for refugee status?
Inland applicants for refugee status in Canada do receive their health care. They receive the same level of health care that all of us would receive. So to suggest that, that for some reason you can make the accusation and you can make the statement, but it doesn't make it true. We have said that for those that are applying for refugee status in Canada, the interim period of time that it takes to go through that application, they shouldn't receive, anyone who's doing it, shouldn't receive better health care than any of us in this room.
That's not a comparison. People who are working can buy supplemental insurance. People who are applying to be refugees can't. And if they have any health care now, it's because the Supreme Court made you give it back to them in part. They have not even the full health care they have. People who are trying to sponsor refugees know that there's going to be a period where there's a bridge where they haven't got their approval yet, and people get sick, and they're going to have to cover all the health care for those refugees in there. So it's not true that they're being given some kind of gold-plated plan. They're being covered while they're waiting.
Actually, the sponsorship, and maybe you don't quite understand it, the sponsorship program, the private sponsorship program works a little differently than you're suggesting with respect to healthcare. A private sponsor is going to accept the refugee that has been approved through the UN and gone through security approvals through the country, and then we accept them into Canada. Those individuals receive the absolute highest of health care the minute that they land.
But you were right there with me 3 weeks ago when the Mennonite Central Committee representative said, actually, this exact problem. Also, you don't have to take my word for it. The doctors, physicians are protesting on this point.
Moses actually clarified the point that an individual made that asked whether or not those refugees who come out of land into Canada received health care immediately when they got here. And the question was, they didn't believe that they did. And Moses Moyni pointed out that, in fact, the minute a refugee lands here in Canada that has been approved through the UN has gone through all of the proper...
but you did point out it's a barrier as well.
They have to get that maximum health care.
They did point out these cuts are a barrier as well.
Thank you.
Because people get sick.
Thank you very much.
There's been no cuts there.